Honestly, like, Nick doesn't even know that I use law of attraction to kind of seek him out and find him. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about the law of attraction and kind of my personal story on how I have used it to find a successful relationship, find a house that I was kind of dreaming of having, and also the job that I really wanted. But before I go ahead and kind of dive into my personal story with law of attraction, I just kind of want to briefly explain what the law of attraction is for those of you who don't know. If you guys are interested in a more like in-depth version of that, then go ahead and just do your research because there's tons out there. But super briefly, the law of attraction, when you first explain it to someone who's never heard of it, it can sound kind of like you're insane, but it really isn't. It does make a lot of sense. Basically, it's just what you think about turns into your reality. And I am 100% a believer in it. Obviously, that's kind of why I'm here today, is to explain to you how it's worked for me and how I have gained success with it. But yeah, really to put it like super short and brief, it's basically you attract what you put out into the universe. So if you are thinking positive things and you are focusing in on something that you want, the universe will bring it to you. So that's basically, and it can work the opposite way as well. If you are putting out a lot of negative energy and saying, I'm never going to have this, I'm never going to have this, about 99% of the time, you're not going to get it, because those are, you know, that's what you're putting out into the universe, that's what you're telling it, and that's what you're telling yourself, so that's going to be your outcome. But today I'm going to go into my story and kind of 3 different specific things that I have managed to manifest into my life. So I'm going to go through each one, but I'm going to kind of go through like individual tips and tricks. I believe I have 3 or 4. I have 4. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. So I'm going to go through 4 kind of tips and tricks on how you can use it and how I used it to get what you want out of life. So my very first tip is to be positive and be grateful. So I was kind of mentioning that earlier. Another thing besides just being positive and happy is to be grateful for what you already have. So this is a huge thing that can't be overlooked, because if you're not happy and kind of at ease and grateful with your current situation and appreciating it for what it is, then it's not, law of attraction is not going to work for you. And I know this because from personal experience. So I'm going to kind of go into my first situation on how this personally worked for me. So this tip and trick was a huge one for all of these things. My job, getting my boyfriend. It sounds so funny to say, and he doesn't even know that, honestly, like Nick doesn't even know that I used law of attraction to kind of seek him out and find him. And to be honest, at that point in my life, I wasn't aware that I was doing that either. It wasn't until later on that I kind of did more research and understood what the law of attraction was, that I realized that I 100% was using the law of attraction to get my boyfriend, and it happened very quickly for me personally, without me even realizing that was what I was doing. What had happened is I was with my ex-boyfriend for 4 years around, and our relationship was kind of a roller coaster. I had a lot of up and downs, but at the back of my mind, I knew that that relationship wasn't really the right relationship for me, and I knew it wasn't going to last long term. He was a great person, and he kind of served my life in a lot of ways that I needed at that time, and you know, I learned a lot from it and everything like that. But basically, we broke up after 4 years of dating. It was kind of a shock, but kind of not a shock, if you know what I mean. He initially broke up with me. I was very upset for like 2 or 3 days, and then I just kind of like sat there and thought it through. But deep down, like in my heart, I knew that that wasn't going to last for the rest of my life. There was just, we weren't very compatible, and there was a lot of other things. So after a couple days of really grieving hard that relationship, which I think that everyone should do, everyone should grieve. But I guess in my mind, I kind of already knew it was going to be over one day. So I just came to terms with it. I really thought it out. I came to peace with everything, and just, yeah, came to terms with it. And I was super grateful. I felt super grateful that I had that relationship and learned from it. And now it was over, and I just kind of realized that that's what I needed at that time. Another way that positive thinking and being grateful for my current situation really helped me was when I was in school. I did go to school the last couple of years, and near the kind of like in the last year of my studies, I wasn't very happy with my curriculum that I was learning, and just kind of being in school in general. I wasn't very happy with it. I kind of knew that I wanted a different job, and knowing that while I was still in school for going to school for something totally different that I wanted, instead of being super down on myself, which I definitely did get, but I just came to a place where I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna accept the fact that I'm in my last year of studies. I'm so grateful that I get to be in school studying something. I get, I can afford it. I have the freedom to have an education. I just kind of changed my way of thinking about everything, the whole situation, and just came to terms with, you know what, I'm gonna wrap up this last year of school the best that I can. I'm gonna try really hard. I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna be happy. And I found some really great friends in that last 2 years that I was at school. So I just changed my way of thinking, and that eventually kind of, I think, pushed me in the direction to getting the job that I wanted. So all of this brings me into my second tip. I'm just going to quickly look at my notes because I can't think of this all the top of my head, so I had to write it down. Was deciding like exactly specifically what it was that I wanted. So you really have to like be specific and know exactly what you want. So this is kind of the funniest story about this for me is relating to my boyfriend. So as I was mentioning before, my ex-boyfriend and I had broken up. And I was grateful, I was happy, I was positive, blah, 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 that's totally fine. And then after that, after I kind of really came to terms with the breakup, I knew right away that I wanted a boyfriend eventually in my life. I didn't know when. I didn't even really think about that. I didn't think about how long it was going to take me. I didn't focus on that at all. I just knew I wanted a relationship that was happy and loving and healthy. I want to get married one day. I want to have children, and I've known that for a really long time. So that's something that I knew for sure I wanted. Like right out of the relationship, I was like, I didn't want to jump into another relationship, but I knew it was my like kind of not my goal, but something that meant a lot to me to have a loving relationship. I have never been one of those girls that just wanted to be single and meet a whole bunch of different guys. I mean, that's great and that serves its purposes and everyone's different, but I just kind of wanted to find that someone that really connected with me and loved me for who I was. I was literally like, I kind of made like a mental list, and I was like, okay, I know what I want from a guy. I remember talking to my mom and I was like, hey mom, like I want somebody, these are super important things to me. Some are superficial, like some have to do with your looks and stuff, but you need to be attracted to the person you're dating, obviously. But anyways, that's just a little disclaimer. I promise you I'm not a shallow human being. So the first one, I don't really even understand why this is so important to me, but I wanted to have someone with the same music tastes as me. I wanted someone that I can bond with and like jam out with in the car, or like be able to play my music at my house and like have that connection, and someone understand my music taste and why I love who I love and like where I'm coming from. That sounds kind of silly, but like I just have always known that that's something that I wanted in a person. Number one. Number two, looks wise, I wanted someone who was tall and had dark features and was handsome, and for some reason at the back of my mind I had it in my head that I wanted to date someone with green eyes like myself, because I always said when I was younger growing up and stuff, I want to have babies and I want them to have green eyes because both my parents have green eyes and I just want to carry on the green eye tradition. Another thing I had on my list I remember specifically is someone who played guitar and sang. I don't really know why I wanted this at the time. I just always thought it was sweet when like a guy could like play the guitar and like serenade you, and I always just thought it was really romantic. The next thing I said I wanted was someone who shared kind of a similar sense of humor to me, because I just can't really imagine dating someone who has a different sense of humor, because then you're just laughing at different things and I don't know, it would just be a very awkward kind of vibe to your relationship. So I wanted someone that could relate to me and have the same sense of humor as me. And then the last thing I wanted was someone who had a really great family and who could kind of relate and come into my family and be comfortable. And I think that's something that a lot of people want. But those were kind of my 5 things I remember saying that I want specifically. Second night I met Nick, I was at my friend's house party in her college town that I was visiting her at. And we were kind of talking and hanging out whenever we were, really into each other, like kind of right off the bat. But we were just talking and getting to know each other. So anyways, we were kind of chatting, whatever. Just right off the bat, I noticed he was tall. He had brown hair and he had the most gorgeous piercing green eyes. And I had been drinking a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. And for some reason, I went into like the list to him. I was like, so like right away, I was like, what kind of music do you listen to? I remember that was one of the very first questions that when we actually sat down on the couch together, I remember that clear as day. I was like, what kind of music do you listen to? And he's like, oh, I like some like oldies and I like this and I like that. I have a very like eclectic taste of music. I like a lot of different people and I really love music. And I was like, okay. So then I was like, okay, this might sound funny, but like I always really like wanted to date a guy who like played guitar and sang. I don't know why I was telling him that at the time, thinking back, but he's like, oh really, like I play guitar and I sing. I was like, you do? Like, are you just saying that for the purpose of saying that because you wanna, you know? So he pulls out his phone and he like shows me some videos of him playing guitar and singing, and I was like, okay, like that's kind of weird. It's really funny that I was like, okay, this guy is literally like checking so much off my list right now. Like this is weird. So anyways, that is kind of my long story short. Just a little FYI, we have the exact same sense of humor. We laugh at all the same things. And he gets along with my family great and I get along with his family amazingly. So yeah, that's just a kind of funny story on how I was really specific with what I wanted and I found exactly what I wanted. And this happened over a very short period of time. Like I wasn't out looking for a boyfriend, but I knew what I wanted right away and I was super specific and I was really at ease with it. I wasn't like pushing it. I wasn't like, I need to go out and get a boyfriend and I need him to have these things. I remember really, really, truly believing and telling a lot of people too, like telling my friends and my family, I was like, nope, like I'm gonna find a guy that has this, this, this. We're gonna have the same taste in music. Like I'm gonna find him and he will be in my life one day. That's a really, really solid example in my opinion on how the law of attraction can really work and how you truly need to kind of believe it. You can't have doubts or fears or have worry behind it. It needs just to be like a natural, at ease kind of feeling. About halfway through the last year of my schooling, I decided what I wanted to do, the exact job. I decided the exact company that I wanted to work for, and I kind of decided when I wanted to start working, which was pretty much right after I graduated. Ended up getting the practicum at that company and ended up getting the job with that company right out of school. Obviously, you know, took the steps that it needed to be done in order to get that job, but I was just very positive and I just was very specific with what I wanted to do. And I'm still working there right now and I am happy with the company. It's super close to home and there's just a lot of really good things about it. It's great people and everything like that. So that's another example of how being specific can really help you achieve your goals and what you want to get. So before I lived in this house, I knew that I wanted to live in a house. I knew that I wanted it to be very bright with lots of windows. That was like one of my very first things in my mind. I didn't have like super specific like wall colors or anything like that, but I always liked like dark hardwood floors, big and bright and open, and just have like kind of a happy vibe to it. The house that I'm currently living in has a lot of windows, and that was the very first thing. This is the very first house that we looked at, by the way, when we were going to look for a house to rent, and we ended up getting it. The next step, tip number 3, kind of ties into my last tip, but it is to visualize yourself having these things that you want, even if you don't have them already. So kind of pretend like you already do. Like I was saying before, I was telling people that I had gotten this job before I actually had certainly gotten it. I visualized myself living in a house very similar to this before I did, and obviously those things worked out in my favor. So for my last tip, my tip number 4, it is to create a vision board. So this kind of ties in really perfectly with visualizing what you want. If you can actually not just visualize it in your head, but physically see it in front of you every day, I think that is a huge kind of help and motivator on achieving what you want to achieve and manifesting what you want out of life. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you guys my vision board. There's a couple things on there that are a little embarrassing. Not every single thing on here has happened yet, but I would say about half of them have. And I've made like my year vision board. A couple of these things I knew that I wasn't going to be able to accomplish in a year, but I just knew that I wanted eventually the next couple of years. Alright, so this is my vision board. It's pretty big, so it's going to take up like the majority of the frame. I'm just going to talk about what is on here and what I have managed to manifest out of this vision board this far. So something that I wanted to do was graduate this year, which I did. I wanted to, that's kind of where this stuff ties in, but so this is my little graduation thing. This is just a person working. Get a new job is on there, and like I said, I specifically knew what job I wanted. Making more money, which I have managed to do working at my current job. This is a little keep calm and study hard, so that's just from graduating. I did graduate in April. And then moving. So I knew I wanted to get a new house, so that's kind of what this was. Obviously I live in a new house. We moved in May. This is just like the house that I wanted. There's just like specific rooms and stuff, big, bright, and open with lots of windows, and then like an office space. Mexico, there's a little sign that says Mexico. I actually went to Mexico at the end of April when I was finished school. Nick actually surprised me with a Mexico trip for my birthday. There is a little Frenchie puppy on here. We plan on getting a baby French bulldog in the next 2 to 3 months, so that's something that will be soon a reality, which is super exciting. I can't wait to get a puppy. An overview of my vision board, and obviously lots of these things have happened to me. So if you guys are obviously a little bit skeptical and you think, you know, some of this can be bullshit, it's definitely, I understand where you're coming from. It does sound a little kind of crazy when you're talking to someone who has never practiced this or experienced it for themselves, but I am a prime example of how you can have success with the law of attraction if you use it properly. So that is going to be it for this video. I really hope you guys learned something and enjoyed it. And yeah, I found this video interesting. If you did want to see more law of attraction videos or videos like this one, then just let me know down in the comment section. You can also give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Go ahead and subscribe for more videos. I do plan on making probably a couple more law of attraction videos, especially if that's what you guys want to see, because it is something that I really enjoy talking about and something that I kind of have passion for and truly believe in, and something that has just made my life a lot more positive and has motivated me in a lot of different ways that I didn't even know possible. So yeah, if you guys did like this video, like I said, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you again so much for watching. Bye.